夜空炸出大团火光，爆炸声连连。伊朗再遭以色列袭击，最大石化工业园区上空升起浓浓黑烟，园内生产全面停摆，超过50座石化厂停工，核电厂周边遇袭，多地烧成火海。美国总统川普 po 影片呛美军终结伊朗多名愚蠢指挥官，并对伊朗下48小时最后通牒，要求达成协议或重新开放荷默兹海峡，不然地狱降临。伊朗扬言，若基础设施持续遇袭，地狱之门将敞开。
فراموش نکنید که در صورت گسترش شرارت کل منطقه به جهنمی برایتان تبدیل خواهد.
美国和以色列方面在4号打击了伊朗境内关键基础设施和石化能源设施。据伊朗媒体报道，美国和以色列4号空袭了伊朗马赫沙赫尔石油化工特区，引发剧烈爆炸。伊朗布什尔核电站当天也再次遭袭。
当地时间4号，伊朗外长阿拉格齐在社交媒体发文称，以色列和美国已4次轰炸伊朗布什尔核电站，如果造成核泄漏，距离核电站更近的地区邻国更容易遭受生命损失。
当地时间的4号上午，伊朗布什尔核电站附近遭美以袭击，一处围栏被击中，并造成1人死亡，核电站运行未受影响。那近期布什尔核电站附近已经多次遭袭。
国际原子能机构4号表示，伊朗已向该机构通报布什尔核电站当天再次遭袭的情况。国际原子能机构在社交媒体发文说，已收到伊朗方面的通报，该核电站目前尚未报告辐射水平升高。
国际原子能机构总干事格罗西对此事件深表关切，强调核电站及其附近区域绝不能遭到攻击。他再次呼吁各方保持最大限度军事克制，避免发生核事故。
Yeah, Alex, as you mentioned, the status of that missing U.S. service member is still unknown, but we do know that a search and rescue mission is still currently underway to try to locate that individual. And videos verified by CNN actually show what appears to be part of that rescue mission with low-flying aircraft spotted across Iran. Now, the other U.S. service member who was on board that downed fighter jet, an F-15, was rescued and is currently undergoing treatment. But Alex, this situation is very, very serious. It marks the first time that a manned U.S. aircraft has been shot down over Iran since the conflict began over a month ago. And it also underscores two key things here. The first is that Iran still very much has the capabilities of posing as a threat to U.S. aircrafts even after a month of fighting. And they proved that once more after shooting down this F-15 by also attacking a second U.S. military plane just a few hours later. Also, Alex, it underscores how the longer this fighting goes on, the more this war goes on, the greater the risk is to U.S. service members fighting in the Middle East. Now, as you mentioned, Alex, the U.S. President Donald Trump has said that it will not affect peace negotiations with Iran, but Trump is still yet to provide a public comment about this downed fighter jet. Now, as this search and rescue mission is underway, Alex, fighting is still ongoing across the Middle East. In fact, Reuters reporting that the Israeli military is striking Hezbollah infrastructure in Beirut in Lebanon, and you can see some videos there, I hope, showing that Israeli missile striking Beirut early Saturday morning. You can also see some plumes of smoke rising into the Beirut night sky. Now, separately in Israel, we also know that an Iranian missile hit a residential area, and emergency responders were at that site as well. So far, no casualties have been reported, but you can see some of the damage there to nearby buildings. Now, also separately in Iran, Alex, early Saturday morning, state media has said that one individual was killed in northern Tehran as a result of a missile strike. The Iranian Red Crescent Society saying early Saturday that it was providing emergency assistance in the wake of these overnight strikes. So again, Alex, as peace negotiations are still ongoing and appear to not really be making any headway at the moment, and fighting, of course, very much ongoing as more lives are lost in this escalating conflict.
Typically what happens is they will go into an area, so they will figure out where exactly or pretty close to exactly where the downed airman is. And in the case of the incidents that happened in Bosnia back in the 1990s, they would often be located, they would hide themselves in the tree lines of the forests there. Iran's a little bit different, not too many forests in that part of Iran that we think this happened at, but there are still areas where they can hide. And so the helicopters will land close to that area. Usually the rescued person will be able to see the helicopter, and sometimes they'll be able to guide them in, but that's a kind of a risky thing to do. They may use mirrors or things like that to signal to the air crews that they're there at that particular location. And then there's, as they land, there's then a challenge word that the rescuer and the aircrew member exchange with each other, and that then verifies the identity of the person, and they're then brought onto the helicopter, and basically off they go. And then in addition to the helicopter that lands, there's usually another helicopter or a fixed-wing aircraft that is providing overwatch and will try to keep hostile forces away from the rescue party.
When an aircrew has to eject from an aircraft, they have ejection seats, and these ejection seats are designed to blast them out of the aircraft. They actually have explosive charge that's associated with the ejection seat, and then they descend by means of parachutes, and that can then allow them to descend as safely as possible. Landings can still be hard when it comes to parachute landings, but the basic idea is to save them from what would otherwise be certain death. Survival training is a key aspect of training air crews in the U.S. Air Force and the other services. So there's a particular form of training called survival, escape, resistance, and evasion, or SERE training. That training is designed to actually prepare air crews for an eventuality like what happened with the F-15 in Iran. And what happens there is once they hit the ground, the pilot and the weapons systems officer then have to find ways to escape and evade possible capture by, in this case, the Iranians. As far as weapons are concerned, aircrew members are issued a knife and a pistol, and then they're trained to resist in other ways. The survival of air crews is really a paramount concern of the U.S. military. When a combat search and rescue mission is initiated to rescue a downed aircrew member, what happens is they look for a beacon-like signal that the aircrew member should be able to transmit to the incoming helicopters or other aircraft that are designed to not only locate them, but also to pick them up and extract them from hostile territory. Most air crews are really trained to survive for a few days, and hopefully it just requires a few hours before a search and rescue team can actually come and pick them up.